Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It's the key to your success, happiness, and fulfillment in life. But like any tool, it needs to be used correctly to achieve the best results. That's where the concept of disciplining your thoughts comes in. Think about it. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every emotion you feel starts with a thought. Your thoughts shape your reality. They determine how you see the world and how you respond to it. If you can control your thoughts, you can control your life. But here's the thing, most people don't realize they have this power. They let their thoughts run wild, jumping from one idea to another without any direction or purpose. They're at the mercy of their minds, rather than being in control of them. Imagine your mind as a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. If you let weeds grow unchecked, they'll choke out the beautiful flowers and fruits you want to cultivate. But if you carefully tend to your garden, planting the right seeds and nurturing them, you'll create a lush, vibrant space filled with positivity and growth. This is what disciplining your thoughts is all about. It's about taking charge of your mental garden and deciding what you want to grow there. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds great. But how do I actually do it? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. The first step in disciplining your thoughts is awareness. You need to become conscious of what's going on in your mind. Most of us go through life on autopilot, barely noticing the constant chatter in our heads. But that chatter is shaping our lives in ways we don't even realize. Start by taking a few minutes each day to simply observe your thoughts. Don't judge them, don't try to change them, just watch them. You might be surprised by what you notice. Maybe you'll find that you have a constant stream of worries running through your mind. Or perhaps you'll realize that you spend a lot of time replaying past events or imagining future scenarios. This awareness is crucial because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Once you start paying attention to your thoughts, you'll be in a much better position to guide them in the direction you want. The next step is to question your thoughts. Not every thought that pops into your head is true or helpful. In fact, many of our thoughts are based on old beliefs or fears that no longer serve us. By questioning your thoughts, you can start to separate the wheat from the chaff. When a negative thought comes up, ask yourself, is this really true? Do I have evidence to support this? Is thinking this way helping me or holding me back? Often you'll find that your negative thoughts don't stand up to scrutiny. They're just habits of thinking that you've fallen into over time. For example, let's say you have a big presentation coming up at work. You might find yourself thinking, I'm going to mess this up. I always get nervous and forget what I want to say. But is that really true? Have you always messed up presentations, or are you just focusing on the times when things didn't go perfectly and ignoring all the times you did well? By questioning these thoughts, you can start to replace them with more balanced, realistic ones. Maybe instead you could think, I prepared well for this presentation. Even if I get a little nervous, I know my material and I'll do my best. This brings us to the third step. Reframing? Once you've identified unhelpful thoughts, you need to actively work on changing them. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to be positive all the time. It's about finding a more balanced, constructive way of thinking. Reframing is like putting on a different pair of glasses. The situation hasn't changed, but your perspective on it has. And that can make all the difference in how you feel and how you respond. Let's say you make a mistake at work. Your initial thought might be, I'm such an idiot. I can't do anything right. But what if you reframe that thought to, everyone makes mistakes sometimes. This is an opportunity for me to learn and improve. See the difference? The first thought leaves you feeling discouraged and defeated. The second one acknowledges the mistake but focuses on growth and improvement. Which one do you think is going to lead to better outcomes? Now, I want to be clear about something. Disciplining your thoughts doesn't mean you'll never have negative thoughts again. That's not realistic or even desirable. Negative thoughts can sometimes serve a purpose, alerting us to potential problems or areas where we need to make changes. The goal isn't to eliminate all negative thoughts, it's to create a healthy balance, where you're not dominated by negativity, but can look at situations realistically and constructively. Think of it like this. Your mind is like a ship, and your thoughts are the wind. Negative thoughts are like a strong headwind, making it harder to move forward. Positive thoughts are like a tailwind, propelling you towards your goals. By disciplining your thoughts, you're learning to adjust your sails to make the most of whatever wind comes your way. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of disciplining your thoughts. Focus. In today's world, we're bombarded with distractions, social media, emails, text messages. There's always something vying for our attention. And each of these distractions brings with it a new set of thoughts, pulling us away from what's truly important. Learning to focus your thoughts is like developing a mental muscle. It takes practice, but the more you do it, the stronger you'll become. Start by setting aside specific times for focused work or thought. In these times, commit to thinking only about the task at hand. When your mind starts to wander, gently bring it back to the present moment. This practice of focused thinking has enormous benefits. It allows you to dig deeper into ideas, to make connections you might have missed otherwise, and to produce higher quality work. Plus, the ability to control where you direct your thoughts is a fundamental part of mental discipline. But focus isn't just about work or productivity. It's also about being present in your life. How often do you find yourself physically in one place, but mentally somewhere else entirely? Maybe you're having dinner with your family, but your mind is still at work, rehashing a conversation from earlier in the day. Or you're taking a walk in nature, but instead of appreciating the beauty around you, you're worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. By learning to focus your thoughts, you can fully engage with the present moment. You can appreciate the little joys of life that we so often miss when our minds are elsewhere. This doesn't just make life more enjoyable. It also reduces stress and increases overall well-being. Now let's talk about the power of repetition in disciplining your thoughts. Your brain is constantly forming new neural pathways based on your repeated thoughts and actions. This means that the more you think a certain way, the more natural and automatic it becomes. This can work against you if you're stuck in patterns of negative thinking, but it can also be a powerful tool for positive change. By consciously choosing to repeat positive, constructive thoughts, you can literally rewire your brain over time. One way to do this is through affirmations. These are positive statements that you repeat to yourself regularly. For example, I am capable of handling whatever challenges come my way, or I am constantly growing and improving. At first, these might feel forced or unnatural, especially if they're very different from your usual thoughts. But with repetition, they can start to feel more genuine and can significantly impact your overall mindset. Another powerful technique is visualization. This involves creating detailed mental images of what you want to achieve or how you want to feel. When you combine vivid visualization with the emotion of already having achieved your goal, you're sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. This can help align your thoughts and actions with your goals, making them more achievable. Remember, though, that disciplining your thoughts isn't about suppressing or denying your true feelings. It's not about forcing yourself to think happy thoughts when you're genuinely upset or worried. That kind of forced positivity can actually be counterproductive. Instead, it's about acknowledging your feelings, understanding where they come from, and then choosing how to respond to them. It's about developing the mental flexibility to see situations from different perspectives and to choose the most constructive way of thinking about them. This brings us to another important point: the role of self-compassion in disciplining your thoughts. Many people make the mistake of being overly harsh with themselves in an attempt to control their thoughts. They berate themselves for every negative thought, creating a cycle of negativity and self-criticism. But true mental discipline comes from a place of self-compassion, not self-criticism. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a good friend. When you catch yourself in a negative thought pattern, instead of getting angry at yourself, try to respond with gentleness and curiosity. Ask yourself, why am I thinking this way? What need or fear is behind this thought? Often negative thoughts are attempts by our minds to protect us or to meet some underlying need. By approaching them with compassion and curiosity, we can often uncover valuable insights about ourselves. This compassionate approach also makes it easier to change our thoughts. When we're kind to ourselves, we create a sense of safety that allows us to explore new ways of thinking without fear of self-judgment. Now let's talk about the importance of patience in this process. Disciplining your thoughts is not something that happens overnight. It's a lifelong journey of growth and self-discovery. There will be days when it feels easy and days when it feels impossibly hard. There will be times when you fall back into old thought patterns, and that's okay. The key is to approach this process with patience and persistence. Every time you catch a negative thought and choose to reframe it, you're making progress. Every time you bring your wandering mind back to the present moment, you're strengthening your mental discipline. These small victories add up over time, leading to significant changes in your overall mindset and quality of life. It's also important to remember that disciplining your thoughts isn't about achieving some perfect state of constant positivity. Life will always have its ups and downs, and it's normal and healthy to experience a full range of emotions. The goal is to develop the mental tools to navigate these ups and downs more effectively, to bounce back more quickly from setbacks, and to approach life's challenges with resilience and optimism. One powerful way to discipline your thoughts is to cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is like a spotlight. Whatever it shines on becomes brighter and more prominent in your mind. When you make a habit of focusing on what you're grateful for, you naturally start to notice more positive aspects of your life. Each day, take a few minutes to think of 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. It could be as simple as a delicious cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or a beautiful sunset. The key is to really feel the gratitude, not just think about it intellectually. Over time, this practice can shift your default mode of thinking. Instead of automatically noticing what's wrong or what's missing in your life, you'll start to naturally notice the good things. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about creating a more balanced perspective that acknowledges both the challenges and the blessings in your life. Another important aspect of disciplining your thoughts is learning to live in the present moment. So much of our mental energy is spent reliving the past or worrying about the future, but the only moment we can actually influence is the present one. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for bringing your thoughts back to the present. It involves paying attention to your current experience, your thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations without judgment. This might sound simple, but it can be surprisingly challenging. Our minds are so used to wandering that staying present takes practice. Start small. Try to be fully present for just 1 minute. Focus on your breath or on the sensations in your body when your mind wanders, and it will gently bring it back to the present moment. As you get better at this, you can gradually increase the duration. The benefit of this practice goes beyond just feeling more calm and centered. When you're fully present, you're in the best position to respond effectively to whatever life throws your way. You're not clouded by regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. You're right here, right now, with all your resources available to you. Now let's talk about the power of your thoughts in shaping your identity. The way you think about yourself, your self-talk, has a profound impact on who you become. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you can't do something, you're limiting your potential before you even try. On the other hand, if you think of yourself as capable, resilient, and worthy, you're much more likely to take on challenges and persist in the face of setbacks. This doesn't mean denying your weaknesses or areas for improvement. It means having a balanced, growth-oriented view of yourself. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Would you speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself in your own mind? If not, it might be time to adjust your self-talk. Replace harsh self-criticism with constructive feedback. Instead of "I'm so stupid for making that mistake," try "I made a mistake, but I can learn from it and do better next time." Remember, your thoughts are not facts just because you think something doesn't make it true. This is particularly important when it comes to limiting beliefs about yourself. Maybe you think you're not creative, or that you're bad with numbers, or that you'll never be successful. But these are just thoughts, not immutable truths. Challenge these limiting beliefs. Look for evidence that contradicts them. Have there been times when you've been creative, even in small ways? Have you ever successfully worked with numbers, even if it's just balancing your checkbook? What success is, no matter how small, have you had in your life? By questioning and challenging these limiting beliefs, you can start to expand your sense of what's possible for you. And as you change your thoughts about yourself, you'll start to change your actions, which in turn will change your results. Research goes to a point. The connection between your thoughts and your thoughts don't exist in a vacuum. They directly influence your behavior. If you think a task is impossible, you're less likely to even try. If you think you're going to fail, you might unconsciously sabotage yourself. But when you discipline your thoughts to focus on possibilities and solutions, you're much more likely to take positive action. You'll approach challenges with a problem-solving mindset rather than a defeatist one. You'll be more willing to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. This doesn't mean ignoring potential obstacles or difficulties. It means approaching them with a "how can I" attitude instead of a "why I can't" attitude. When faced with a challenge, instead of thinking "this is too hard, I can't do it," try thinking "this is difficult, but what's one small step I can take toward solving it?" By changing your thoughts in this way, you're setting yourself up for action and progress rather than inaction and stagnation. Now, let's talk about the role of your environment in disciplining your thoughts. Your thoughts don't occur in isolation. They're influenced by everything around you. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, the spaces you inhabit. All these play a role in shaping your thought patterns. This means that part of disciplining your thoughts involves curating your environment. Surround yourself with positive, supportive people who encourage your growth. Limit your exposure to negative influences, whether that's pessimistic news coverage or toxic social media content. Fill your space with reminders of your goals and values. This could be inspirational quotes, vision boards, or simply objects that make you feel good. The idea is to create an environment that naturally encourages positive, constructive thinking. Remember, disciplining your thoughts isn't about controlling every single thought that enters your mind. That's not possible, and trying to do so would be exhausting and counterproductive. Instead, it's about setting up systems and habits that naturally guide your thoughts in a more positive, constructive direction. It's like creating a riverbed for your thoughts to flow through. You can't control every drop of water, but you can shape the path that the river takes. One powerful way to do this is through the questions you habitually ask yourself. Your mind is constantly answering questions, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. By changing the questions you ask, you can change the direction of your thoughts. For example, instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" When something goes wrong, try asking, "What can I learn from this situation?" Instead of, "What if I fail?" Ask, "What if I succeed?" These questions direct your mind towards solutions and possibilities rather than problems and limitations. Another important aspect of disciplining your thoughts is learning to manage your emotional state. Your thoughts and emotions are closely linked. Each influences the other. When you're in a negative emotional state, it's much harder to maintain positive, constructive thoughts. Or it could involve engaging in activities that bring you joy and peace, like listening to music, spending time in nature, or practicing a hobby you love. The key is to have a toolkit of strategies you can use to shift your emotional state, which in turn will make it easier to maintain positive, disciplined thoughts. Remember, your thoughts and emotions are not your master. You are theirs. You have the power to choose how you respond to any given situation. This doesn't mean you'll always feel happy or that you'll never have negative thoughts. It means that you have the ability to guide your thoughts and emotions in a more constructive direction. Think of it like sailing a boat. You can't control the wind or the waves, but you can adjust your sails and steer your ship. Sometimes the journey will be smooth and sometimes it will be rough. But with practice and persistence, you can navigate through any waters. Now let's talk about the power of your thoughts in shaping your relationships. The way you think about others has a profound impact on how you interact with them. If you approach people with thoughts of suspicion or judgment, you're likely to create tension and conflict. But if you approach them with thoughts of understanding and compassion, you're more likely to build strong, positive relationships. This doesn't mean ignoring red flags or letting people take advantage of you. It means giving others the benefit of the doubt when possible and trying to understand their perspective. When someone does something that upsets you, instead of immediately jumping to negative conclusions about their character or intentions, try thinking, what might be going on in their life that I don't know about? What need are they trying to meet through this behavior? This kind of thinking can transform your relationships. It allows you to respond to others with empathy and wisdom rather than reacting from a place of hurt or anger. And often when you change your thoughts about someone, you change your behavior towards them, which can in turn change their behavior towards you. The same principle applies to your relationship with yourself. The way you think about yourself shapes your self-esteem, your confidence, and your overall sense of well-being. If your thoughts about yourself are constantly critical and negative, you're creating an internal environment of stress and self-doubt. On the other hand, if you cultivate thoughts of self-compassion and self-encouragement, you create an internal environment that supports your growth and happiness. This doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or areas for improvement. It means acknowledging them with kindness and seeing them as opportunities for growth, rather than reasons for self-condemnation. Whenever you catch yourself in self-critical thoughts, pause and ask, would I say this to a friend? If not, then why are you saying it to yourself? Practice speaking to yourself with the same kindness and encouragement you would offer to someone you care about. Now, let's delve into the role of purpose in disciplining your thoughts. When you have a clear sense of purpose, a compelling reason why you do what you do, it becomes much easier to direct your thoughts in a positive, constructive direction. Your purpose acts like a North Star guiding your thoughts and actions. When you're faced with challenges or distractions, you can ask yourself, does thinking this way align with my purpose? Is it helping me move towards my goals? This simple question can help you refocus your thoughts on what truly matters to you. If you're not sure what your purpose is, that's okay. Discovering your purpose is a journey in itself. Start by thinking about what matters most to you. What are your core values? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? What activities make you lose track of time because you're so engrossed in them? As you clarify your sense of purpose, you'll find that it naturally influences your thoughts. You'll start to think more about how you can serve that purpose, how you can overcome obstacles in your path, how you can grow and develop to better fulfill your mission. This purpose-driven thinking can be incredibly powerful. It can help you persevere through difficulties, stay focused on what's important, and find meaning even in mundane tasks. It turns your thoughts from mere mental activity into a force for positive change in your life and in the world. Now let's talk about the importance of mental flexibility and discipline in your thoughts. Being mentally flexible doesn't mean being wishy-washy or easily swayed. It means being able to adapt your thinking to different situations, to consider multiple perspectives, and to change your mind when presented with new information. This flexibility is crucial because life is constantly changing. What worked yesterday might not work today. The beliefs that served you well in one phase of your life might hold you back in another. By cultivating mental flexibility, you ensure that your thoughts remain a tool for growth and adaptation rather than becoming a rigid cage that limits your potential. Practice looking at situations from different angles. When you catch yourself thinking in absolute terms, always, never, impossible. Challenge yourself to find exceptions or alternative viewpoints. This doesn't mean you can't have strong convictions. It means holding those convictions with an open hand rather than a clenched fist, always being willing to reconsider and refine your thinking. Another powerful technique for disciplining your thoughts is visualization. Athletes have long used visualization to improve their performance, and it can be just as effective in other areas of life. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding at a task or achieving a goal, you are programming your mind for success. This works because your brain doesn't always distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you visualize success, you're creating neural pathways that support that success. You're also building your belief in your ability to achieve your goals, which can significantly impact your actions and ultimately your results. That is, each day spend a few minutes visualizing yourself successfully handling a challenge you're facing or achieving a goal you're working towards. Make the visualization as detailed and vivid as possible. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? The more real you can make it in your mind, the more powerful the effect will be. Now let's address a common misconception about disciplining your thoughts. Some people believe that it means never having a negative thought, always being positive, or constantly policing their mental activity. But that's not the case at all. Disciplining your thoughts is not about achieving some perfect state of constant positivity. It's about developing the mental tools to navigate the full range of human thoughts and emotions effectively. It's about being able to recognize when your thoughts are helpful and when they're not, and knowing how to shift gears when necessary. It's perfectly normal and healthy to have negative thoughts sometimes. Sadness, anger, fear, these are all part of the human experience. The key is not to eliminate these thoughts and emotions, but to learn how to process them in a healthy way without getting stuck in negative spirals. When you have a negative thought, acknowledge it. Don't try to push it away or pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, observe it with curiosity. Where did this thought come from? What triggered it? Is it based on facts or is it an assumption? Is it helping you in some way or is it holding you back? By approaching your thoughts with this kind of curious, non-judgmental awareness, you can gain valuable insights about yourself and your patterns of thinking. You can learn to recognize the difference between productive negative thoughts, like legitimate warnings about danger, and unproductive ones like baseless worries or self-criticism. Remember, the goal is not to control every thought that enters your mind. That's not possible, and trying to do so would be exhausting. The goal is to be aware of your thoughts, to question them when necessary, and to guide them in a direction that serves you well. This brings us to another important point: the power of acceptance in disciplining your thoughts. It might seem counterintuitive, but accepting your thoughts, even the negative ones, can be a crucial step in changing them. When you resist or fight against your thoughts, you often end up giving them more power. It's like trying not to think of a pink elephant. The more you try not to think about it, the more it dominates your mind. Instead, try accepting your thoughts without judgment. This doesn't mean you have to like them or agree with them. It just means acknowledging that they're there. Okay, I'm having this thought right now. That's interesting. This simple act of acceptance can often diffuse the power of negative thoughts and make it easier to shift to more constructive ones. Now, let's talk about the role of habits in disciplining your thoughts. Your thought patterns are, in many ways, habits of the mind, and like any habits, they can be changed with consistent practice. One powerful way to shape your thought habits is through daily rituals or routines. This could be a morning routine where you set positive intention for the day, a gratitude practice before bed, or regular periods of reflection and self-assessment. These routines serve as anchors for your thoughts, providing structure and direction. They give you regular opportunities to check in with yourself, to realign your thoughts with your goals and values, and to practice the mental skills we've been discussing. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent actions repeated over time. Each time you catch a negative thought and reframe it. Each time you bring your mind back to the present moment. Each time you choose an empowering perspective over a limiting one. You're strengthening your mental muscles. It's like going to the gym for your mind. Just as you wouldn't expect to get physically fit after one workout, you can't expect to master your thoughts after one attempt. But with consistent practice, you will find that disciplining your thoughts becomes easier and more natural. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. Your thoughts shape your reality, influence your emotions, guide your actions, and ultimately determine the course of your life. By learning to discipline your thoughts, you're not just improving your mental state, you're transforming your entire life experience. You're taking control of the steering wheel of your life, rather than being a passenger swept along by whatever thoughts happen to arise. This journey of mental discipline is not always easy. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way. But remember, every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Every time you choose a constructive thought over a destructive one, you're creating a better future for yourself. So I encourage you to start today. Begin paying attention to your thoughts. Question them, challenge them when necessary. Guide them towards positivity and growth. Create an environment that supports positive thinking. Practice self-compassion. Cultivate gratitude. Stay connected to your purpose. Remember, you have the power to shape your thoughts and through them to shape your life. Use that power wisely and watch as it transforms not just your inner world, but your outer world as well. Your thoughts are the seeds of your future. By disciplining them, you're planting a garden of possibility, growth, and fulfillment. Tend to that garden with care, patience, and persistence, and you'll reap a harvest beyond your wildest dreams. The power's in your hands, or rather in your mind. Use it well, and there's no limit to what you can achieve. Your journey of mental discipline starts now with this very thought. Make it count.